5, 4, 3.
We ready right now.
Yeah.
All I know is this violates every canon of respectable broadcasting.
How are you?
Hey, who wants to help me get this recorder out of here? I need some muscle over here.
You are listening to Blame Your Brother.
Hello. Welcome back to Blame Your Brother, episode 253, back after taking a week off, and we will get into all that in just a little bit. We are streaming the show right now, live on YouTube. If you go to youtube.com/blameyourbrother, you can come hang out with us for the next hour or so as we stream the show live just for you. And if you missed that, come get the podcast on Friday mornings. All podcast platforms. We are Blame Your Brother. I'm one half of this duo. I am David, a.k.a. D-Brew, voice of people, Glenn Jackson, the spiritual midget, Mr. Wonderful, and this gentleman sitting over to my left, it is John.
Hey everybody, John here, a.k.a. Tico, a.k.a. Mr. Groupon, Mr. PTI, the Madman.
They got John Tortorella, a madman.
They do have a madman.
Okay, he's a madman.
All right, there we go. So, yes, David and John, Blame Your Brother. So we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, John, I will ask you anything happened to you last week? Anything exciting?
No, not really.
Okay, well, good.
No.
Not
like your week.
I've got some stories to tell you that you might find interesting about just traveling in general. But I went on a New England little trip last week to celebrate our anniversary, my wife and mine's anniversary.
16 years?
16 years. So we flew to Boston, we drove up to Maine, then we went to New Hampshire, Vermont, then back to Boston. So kind of like a circular New England trip, and it was a blast. I mean, I absolutely enjoyed every place we went to. We landed in Boston, but we went to Maine first, and Maine was all the places are beautiful. I mean, the fall foliage is out, you can see all the trees. Beautiful countryside. We went to Maine, had some lobster, had some shrimp. That was amazing there as well. I did not know shrimp could taste that good. I went, well, I guess I'm not eating shrimp till I come back here again because it was the best shrimp I've ever had in my life. And so we just checked out, checked out some shops, checked out the landscape, went to the national park, saw, all the foliage there, went out on a boat, checked out a lake while we were in New Hampshire, and Vermont was fun. We went to Ben & Jerry's, got some ice cream there. It was really good, and just a lot of nature things, a lot of shopping and things. So, I absolutely loved it. And Boston was amazing. I only really got to spend one day there, and I'm going to go back because I loved Boston. I got to go see Fenway Park, which was...
The big gray monster.
Oh, it was beautiful in person. I want to go to a game, at some point in my life. Right now would have been a bad time because they're in the playoffs. But so they had a playoff game the day we were there, but it was at Houston. But man, everyone and their mother were at the bar watching the game. I mean, it was wild, And yeah, man, just had a good time, enjoyed it. So I got to tell you, we're flying on the way out there, right? And, going to the airport, it just sucks. It's not fun, but nothing happened to me. So we get on the airplane, and me and my wife are sitting together. And there's two people that I shall discuss that were sitting over to our left, all right? So I've got my headphones in. I'm listening to my podcast. I'm just chilling. Truthfully, I'm not a big fan of flying. Like, I
get you.
I get panicked. Like, no one would know that if they traveled with me. I'm not like, oh, my God, we're going to die. But internally, I'm like, if we hit any amount of turbulence, I'm like, this is how I'm going to die. Like, But anyway, so I'm in my zone, but I look over. And so the Rolling Stones concert was the Sunday when we left.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of Rolling Stones people flying back to wherever. You saw a lot of Rolling Stones shirt in the airport. And we were there early. Oh, John got me a room at his hotel.
Yeah.
That was nice.
It was lucky because, yeah.
That's good.
We were sold out that night.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Rolling Stones people.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, so I saw you before I left. But so we were there early. We left at 5 a.m. And so anyway, there was a lot of Rolling Stones hangover people there, as you can imagine. But anyway, so the girl is sitting in the aisle across from us. She's wearing a Rolling Stone shirt, and she has this huge bottle of water. I mean, one of those big bottles of water. And then there's a guy sitting beside her, and this man looks rough. I know he's rough because before we took off, he was like to the steward, "Can I get some water?" And she's like, "You have to wait. You have to wait." So, and I assume these two people were not together because they got there at different times. And you can just kind of tell when people were together.
Yeah.
I asked my wife later, I said, are those two together? And she said, no, 100%, because she could hear their conversation. The girl was there for the Rolling Stones concert. He was there for a friend's bachelor party. So they did not know each other at all. I look over at some point, just over the corner of my eye, and I see my man drinking from her water bottle. I was like, okay, that's strange. That's the point I looked at my wife and I went, are those two together? You know, and she's like, no, they're not together. I go, okay. Then I see her hand the water bottle back to the lady. He hands it back to her and she drinks from it. I went, there ain't no way, man.
Not in this day and age.
Is there any situation where you would, okay, look, if I was sitting next to you, right, and you're like, dude, I'm hungover, I'm trash, man, can I have some of that water? If I give it to you out of the kindness of my heart, you're keeping that water. That's your water, okay? That's yours to have. That's yours to, you own that water now. There's no situation where I take the water and drink out of it after you drink from it. I don't know you, right? I just thought that was crazy. I mean, I was like, that is crazy. But this is even wilder. I don't know if you're familiar with the airdrop game, I call it. So if you have an iPhone, you can open your iPhone up and you can airdrop photos to people if they have their phone open and they have airdrop set to receive from anyone. So you just hit it. You hit this button, airdrop, and it'll show you all the airdrop people that have their airdrop open. And it's strangers and you don't know who they are. It doesn't tell you their phone number. It just says their name. So I've seen.
Is this like Omegle, but with just pictures?
Yeah, you can send. I mean, you can send whatever. Anything on your phone, you could send. Like, I guess you can send like contacts or maps or your past, like Google Wallet, like or Apple Wallet. If you have your boarding pass, you can send it to someone. It's basically just it's like Bluetooth, but it's only for iPhone people. Basically, to send to each other. Mm-hmm. So I've seen people on TikTok and Instagram open it up and just start sending like funny pictures to people on a plane and just watching the people react. They're like, what is this picture? And you don't know who sent it. That's why it's kind of funny. So I pulled it up and I was like, let's play this game. I said, I've got this picture. Now this picture, I'm going to describe it as best I can. It is a cartoon image. It's a 3D image. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, the Johnny Depp movie, which was based on Hunter S. Thompson. There is a picture of Hunter S. Thompson, played by Johnny Depp, in cartoon form. He looks like a skeleton guy or whatever. And it says, are you ready to take a trip into the void? Okay. And I went, this would be funny to send to someone on a plane. So I show it to my wife and I go, now I really probably was not going to send it to someone because I'm kind of a chicken when it comes down to it. But she immediately hits this person's name, Molly's iPhone. We look over and it's the chick sitting right next to us. We see that she saves the picture because you can deny, it shows you what the picture looks like. You can put accept or reject, right? If you hit reject, it just goes away. If it's something like, she accepted it. It's really weird. And then she was texting this to someone. I went, she's probably just saying some loser on a plane sent me this picture or whatever. So then I'm curious. I go, let me see if I can find this girl on Instagram. And I swear to God, this is a true story. It's wild. Anyway. So I'm like, let me see if I can find her on Instagram. So I'm looking Rolling Stones. Boom. I look at Casey. I go, that's her, right? And she goes, yeah, that's totally her. We go on her Instagram profile. And 3 weeks ago, you know what she had posted on her Instagram account? That same picture.
3 weeks previously?
Yes, 3 weeks previously. I was like,
crazy.
what is happening here, dude? I was like, oh my God, I'm in the Matrix, dude. Because that doesn't even make sense. That same exact picture, man.
She probably thinks you're stalking her.
I know. I mean, luckily she didn't know who it was. I guess we should have just said something to her, right? But I mean, I didn't know at that exact moment she had posted that picture. I knew a little bit later. I think we were in the airport and I looked it up, but that was crazy. So anyways, other than that, the flight was fine, but we went to Boston and we got a taxi cab driver it was all time, bro. It was all time. So we dropped we had a rental car the entire time, and we were going to drop it off the night before because we had another early flight. We didn't want to have to worry about getting the car there, getting back to the terminal because Boston's a ways away. You have to get on a shuttle. And so we're like, we'll just drop the car off. We ain't got to worry about that, and we'll get a Uber, taxi cab, whatever. So I'm like, Lyft is what my big thing is. Well, Casey's like, we should just get a cab. And so we see a cat. We stop it. We drop the car off and walk across the street to a gas station. and there's a taxi cab in front of it. And I went, okay, sure. And I look inside and I go, well, that, I point to the, I go, that's got to be the guy, the taxi cab driver. This guy was buying scratch offs like I've never seen anyone buy scratch offs. Like, we're waiting for 10 minutes. I just went, honey, this dude's going to be in there for another hour. This dude must have bought 50 scratch offs. He would go buy them, scratch them off, go back up, cash them out or whatever he was doing, and go back some more. So I see another taxi pull up. And the dude gets out, and the dude, if he was 90 years old, I'd be like, all right, I believe that. He was an old man, old white guy, short. He I don't even know who he looked like, man. He just looks like an old white man, bald. And I walk up, and I'm like, oh, I don't really want to ask this guy, but I'm going to do it. So I go, I didn't want to start him and give him a heart attack. So I had to wait till he gets out of his car, and then I walk up and go, hey, can we get a ride? Are you still on the clock? You know, because I don't know. He may be going home. You know, he's like, where are you going? I'm like, we're just going down the street. He goes, all right, I'll take you. All right. So we get in there, and I'm like, maybe we just won't have to talk to this guy, right? Maybe he won't say a word. It'll be a quiet 15-minute cab drive. No. It was the opposite of a quiet 15-minute cab drive. So this guy starts off, and he's like, you ever heard of...
Oh, boy.
He goes, have you ever heard of Ananopolis? I went, no. And I say when I talked to him, I was talking to him. I'm not sure if he heard me talking to him. I think he was in another dimension, okay? He goes, well, that's that's where they built the atomic bomb, and somebody I knew's family was the guy that dropped the atomic bomb. I'm like, all right, dude. The dude's giving us some facts about Boston. What? I mean, who cares, right? I mean, it's harmless enough. And then somehow, some way, we end up, we don't end up talking, he ends up talking about, I'm going to tell you about that Colin Kaepernick, that guy, they ought to cut his legs off. I went, oh God, here we go. And for the next 15 minutes, I've told people about the story. I'm telling you the story linear fashion. I'm telling you from point A to point B. He was going point A to point Z to point W to point C to point E, point F. I mean, you could have done a Memento-style movie on this guy's story because he talked about Colin Kaepernick for a long time. He talked about how he voted for Donald Trump. He talked about how his kids, he hadn't seen his kids in 15 years. He talked about how his one daughter married a black guy, and that was good for her. He talked about how his kids were, grandkids were half Dominican Republic kids. They were from the Dominican Republic. They were Dominican. He talked about why are people making fun of Biden. He talked about how are we going to give the land back to those people. And I went, who is it? Those people? Is he talking about black people or is he talking about American Indians? I think he was talking about American Indians. He talked about...
He voted for Trump, but he was defending Biden in the same breath.
He told me he said he voted for Trump, but he normally was a Democrat. He voted for Democrat like 40 years of his life and all this. And I went, wow, this guy was off the chain, man. And we get out. My wife goes, did you record any of that? And I went, I didn't even think to record that. That would have been a viral sensation. This was the wildest cab driver. I mean, once again, really just talking to himself, I think. Because I would respond with a simple yes or this or that, but I don't think he was hearing what I was saying. Yeah. So that was fun. He was an interesting dude, that's for sure. But otherwise, that man, I had a great trip. It was fun. Got a week off just to relax. Good time with the wife, no kids, and really just coming back to reality. Was kind of it's kind of tough adjusting when you've been off for a week from your job, and you're kind of the one that's kind of solely responsible for what you do. So you have, first day I had like 300 plus emails I had to go through. I was like, oh, this is fun. But I enjoyed the trip, and I'd suggest if you can go up to the Northeast, all the people were very friendly. Met a couple of people that were from Nashville or people that like to come to Nashville and things like that. So very, very cool place. And so definitely go check that out, guys, if you get a chance. All right. Well, that's a little trip here. Now we do have some news stories definitely we have to get to this week. So the first story, we always do like to do rest in peace. Colin Powell, obviously he passed away this Monday. He passed away. I think, my wife woke me up and said, he passed away this week. So he passed away from COVID-19, but complications. I guess he had some type of blood disease and he had like a cancer condition or something. So he was supposed to get a booster shot and he couldn't get it. So if people don't know who Colin Powell is, John, who is Colin Powell for the
Colin Powell has been in politics for at least 30 years, maybe more.
Probably more.
He started out in the military for a long time. even in the late 80s into the early 90s, a lot of people thought that he was going to be our first black president.
Yes, they did.
Which, I mean, if anybody had the clout to do it, he probably did.
Right.
But
and he was the first black, what was his title? Secretary of State, right?
I think so.
Yeah, Secretary of State, first black Secretary of State. And then he made headlines. I mean, and so he was heavily the factor of why we invaded Iraq. I mean, he made the case that they're weapons of mass destruction. So, you know, a lot of people don't like him for that. But then he supported Obama. And so then a lot of the Republicans don't like him anymore. So it was kind of a roller coaster for his career. But I mean, you know, he seemed like, you know, from what you read, most people did not have a problem with the guy. Okay. So, you know, we always like to give rest in peace for people. But, you know, Trump.
I believe for what he did for his career, based on his ethnic background.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he opened doors, had to.
Right. I mean, yes, obviously. And like I said, for any man, and I believe that a lot of those people, the Iraq war, all that, I mean, a lot of people now look back and go, oh, these are war criminals. But I think at the time, like, people genuinely believed it was the right thing to do for the country, right? I mean, that's what I would say. Well, regardless, I mean, he's a man of highest prestige. You know, most people give good words about him. Well, let's read. Donald Trump's back in the news again this week.
Surprise, surprise.
Today he announced he's unleashing a new social media platform coming up soon. It's called The Truth.
Another one? What happened to Parler?
Yes, exactly. What happened to his blog he was hosting. And I read in a funny thing that he got money. The company they got a loan. They didn't even know Trump was associated with this social media platform until it all went through. So that's kind of shady. But anyway, here's the good part. So Trump had words to say about Mr. Colin Powell, and I'm just going to read his statement as it reads here. Anytime you start a rest in peace with wonderful to see Colin Powell, who made big mistakes on Iraq and famously so-called weapons of mass destructions, be treated in death so beautifully by the fake news media. Hope that happens to me someday. He was a classic rhino. If people know what that is, it means Republican in name only. Yeah. Even that, always being the first to attack other Republicans. Here we go. He made plenty of mistakes, but anyway, may he rest in peace. Now, is this why? I just don't understand it, John. I can't. I'm to the point where who is this serving? Like, what is this doing? This man knows if he puts this out, everyone's going to read. I mean, but what's his problem with Colin Powell? Like, do they have beef or something? I mean, what he's trying to...
I think if there's any Republican that he can...
Like, trash is like...
Trash? Like, I mean, I'm sure if something happened to Mitt Romney, God forbid...
Oh...
He'd lay into him.
Oh my! He's ready for Mitt Romney to die. You know that. Yeah. Like he's probably got like 5 drafts on his phone written out for when Mitt Romney dies. Yeah. Obviously, that would be one of the ones. Even McCain, when he passed away, really he had nothing. He had nothing to say that I remember. But what is this, man? This guy is a clown. I mean, I know we've said that over and over again, but give this man, like you say, who historically was important, even if you don't like all of his values he had. Historically, the man was important, and this is your send-off to him? I mean, wonderful to hear that the so-called famously, you know, what the guy is, I don't know, man. I just see that with this, and now all these Trump 2024 rallies and events are starting to happen. And
it makes me sick to my stomach.
And a lot of these people genuinely believe that the man is still president. That's what's even crazier. They honestly believe this man is still president of America. Like, that it's all just a dog and pony show. I don't know what they believe. I don't know. But anyway, I think what we can take from this, minus Trump, you know, obviously paying the homage to Colin Powell, is that, you know, even if you get vaccinated, even if you're vaccinated, you can still get COVID-19. It can still in your life, especially for people that are immune compromised like this. Yeah. And, you know, people still, I'm telling you, out in Williamson County, it is just, it's as if COVID does not even exist. Didn't exist.
I think it's kind of funny. I work at a hotel. Most of our listeners do. I think it's so funny I mean, I've been vaccinated. I still wear my mask
Right.
every day. You know, I clock in, my mask goes on. I'll see people, they're wearing their mask outside. They'll get into the building and take it off.
What is that?
I'm like, that's so backwards.
That is a wild move. What is that move?
Why? I mean, if you're not going to wear your mask, outside is the place not to wear it.
So, what is the policy at your hotel? Is there a policy, or is it?
It's the policy without having a policy, the honor system.
Okay.
Which means everybody on the planet is vaccinated.
Okay, got you. I mean, so basically,
and I mean, you know, we're not allowed to ask, so
right. I don't understand it. I know people that are unvaccinated. They have had close ones or loved ones or relatives literally die from this. And you're like, you're going to get vaccinated? Nah, I'm good, man. Like, I just don't understand it. I know it's like a broken record at this point. I'm not understanding it. Once again, I mean, look, if you're going to sit down with me and just go, hey, this person doesn't want to get vaccinated, I can at least wrap my head around some of their paranoia about it. I get it. I mean, you know, America has a history of doing some underhanded things. I understand that. And, you know, most vaccines are obviously, you know, done out over years. I understand that. And there's reasons why this one was passed. They had more people to sample it on, you know, anyway, whatever the point, but not wearing the mask is just, it's a child just crying because he's not getting his way, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, just wear the mask. That's what I'm saying. It's just wild to me, man. And people are still fighting in the streets about it. You still see people, you know, getting kicked out of stores. My thing is, if you walk into a store, you walk into a business, if the employees are wearing the mask, just put a mask on, man. Like, if they're being subjected to that, just put one on. That's my new policy. If I walk in and, like, I see the employees, I mean, I'm probably going to wear my mask anyway, but, like, that's my unwritten rule there. If they're wearing it, I'm going to wear it. Yeah. You know, that's fair. Like, they have to be here to serve us, then we should do the same thing they're doing, you know. But anyway, anyways, rest in peace, Colin Powell. Now, the big story I want to get to is our man Dave Chappelle put out a new special this week called The Closer. Now, have you seen this?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard the news.
Okay, so I watched it. I think Monday I watched it. I watched it Monday, and so this is going to be one of his last specials with Netflix for a while. And if you watched it, good. I will kind of give you a short and long run of it. I will say this: is it his funniest special? Of course not. You know, I think at this point, Dave Chappelle has actually transcended comedy, where he's still telling jokes, but to me, he's speaking to culture, to society, to politics. I mean, he's become more than comedy. I think that's why I
think at this point, Dave Chappelle gets up on stage and talks, and some of the stuff ends up being funny.
Right. Yes, I agree with you. So,
but it's not like jokes.
Yeah, it's not joke. I mean, he's funny. He's naturally funny, and I think he's taken time into the special. But I don't think his main. I think he wants to be funny, but I think he also wants to talk about the social causes that bother him. So, obviously, if you've been living under, you know, a brick or rock or whatever, you would know that the majority of this special focuses on the transgender community. Because after his last special where he talked about transgender issues, the transgender community was very upset with him. And so I would say 2/3 of this special is about transgendered, the community, and his response. And I look at it like this. I think, you know, obviously I love Dave Chappelle. And so, of course, I'm going to be a little bit on his side. I'm just being honest there. If I was a transgendered person, I'd probably feel different, but I'm not. I'm a straight white male. I love Dave Chappelle. I've said he's my favorite comedian of all time. So I'm trying to look at it with that lens, but I'm also trying to look at it from a broad lens. And I think what he's doing in these specials is allowing society to talk about transgendered issues and allow us to have conversations that we normally wouldn't have. I've said before, me as a straight white male from the South, I've never met a transgendered person like that I know. I mean, like the closest we had Rusty Raquel Red on the show, but she's a cross-dresser.
Yeah.
Like Raquel Red identifies as a gay man, you know. I don't know that I've ever known a transgendered person. Like, when I'm thinking about it. I mean, have you?
I recently met one.
Okay.
I wasn't sure what was going on.
Right.
Because that's not somebody that's like regularly in my life. I saw them once, and then I met someone that's close to them.
Okay.
And they kind of like verified my suspicions.
Okay. Gotcha.
And I mean, I'm not gonna get it.
Right. I mean, and I think that's my point. It's like, okay, so I don't know any transgender people, right? So I would say that the only way I'm really going to learn about it is through media, TV shows, like Why the Last Man's out right now. It's based on a graphic novel, and there's a lot of transgender people in it. I think of TV shows such as Shameless had a transgender character on it. And there's a number of shows like that I've watched. There's a couple. I mean, anyways, you could Google them. I've watched a lot of them. And that's how I've gotten a lot of, like, my information about the people. But I think specials like this allow us to kind of listen to a very famous person who probably interacts with gets more engagement from these people, feedback from these people than we do. I think it's an interesting look at kind of what he was going through. And I mean, I get it, man. Like, he does say some things where I'm like, I would not be comfortable saying those things, but I'm not Dave Chappelle, you know? Yeah. And some of the things he says, I'm like, I think he has a point. You know, I'm not saying that's the absolute truth of anything, but
even some comedians, I mean, there's some comedians that wouldn't be able to say some of the things that he says.
Right.
But I mean, Dave Chappelle, unless he really goes off the chain, he can almost say anything.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he even makes a joke about space Jew. Like, one of the bits is like space Jews. I was like, whoa, like, bro, I mean, like, anyway, I mean, that's wild. But it's a very interesting look. And so he references J.K. Rowling, who's attacked by the transgender community because she said gender is an absolute. And he said, I mean, because he continually says, like, if you identify as a woman, you're a woman. But he says, let's not be honest, that all of us, when we're born, come from an actual woman. And I mean, I think that's a truth, right? I mean, you cannot deny that's a truth. And so I don't know the minutia of that community. And I don't know, he said, J.K. Rowling was a TERF, and that means TERF. It means something. I don't even know what it means. And he said he identifies with that. And I read, like, that upset a lot of people that he said that because TERFs are supposed to be transphobic. And he talks about how he's been branded a transphobic person. And he ends the set talking about how he met a transgendered person that was doing comedy with him. And I don't want to burn that for anyone who watches it, but it's a wild story, and it really makes you take a look at things, and you can read up on it. And I just think, and he says at one point, he said, you know why I'm not scared of getting canceled on Twitter? He goes, because Twitter is not a real place. And I think we've come into this where, I mean, you talk to a lot of people are very upset about cancel culture, and we've talked about it over and over again. And I've said before, the true power of cancel culture does not lie in individuals, it lies in corporations. Yeah. If your job is not willing to let you go because of any statements you say, it doesn't matter what Twitter says. Twitter can get on there and blast you 1,000 times over. If your company's like, we're keeping this guy, it doesn't really matter. So corporations, to me, are really the ones, quote unquote, caving in, but like John Gruden, another story. John Gruden was the coach of the Raiders and was fired this past week while I was on vacation because of emails.
Didn't know about that, yeah.
Emails came out. He was calling gay people the F word. He was making fun of black people, their looks that were in front office positions, a lot of misogynistic comments. So they're pulling all these emails in NFL because of the Washington Football Club. They were doing some very underhanded stuff, like taking nude pictures of cheerleaders, passing them around to each other. And so they're in a lawsuit right now. Well, somehow his emails became public and they read through them and he was fired like that day. And so the Clay Travises of the world and the right wing, like, you going to fire someone over these emails? And I would say, I mean, probably if he's the head coach of $1 billion football team and we know he's using gay slurs, he's using making fun of black people's appearances, their lips and all that. I'm like, bro, that dude can't be a leader, man. Are you kidding me? This isn't Joe who's bagging groceries at the local store.
And I mean, if he was using his Yahoo email, I mean, that's one thing. But I mean, he's probably, if they're tracking it, he's using his official.
Right.
And that's representative of the whole corporation,
right?
Of the NFL.
That's
as a
true.
whole.
That's true. Yeah, I didn't think about. That's a good point.
And so, I mean, if you're representing something, if my Facebook page says I work for Marriott, and I'm going on this, racist rant, and my boss hears about it, guess what?
You're fired.
Yeah.
And you're like just a clerk.
And
you're like
peon.
You're like a night manager, night shift dude. Like you're not even really that in this grand scheme of the hotel game. You're nothing. This guy is the head coach of the Raiders, man. This isn't a local high school team. So it's just to say that I think there's I think there's situations where, yes, if the person is known to be a racist and homophobic and just being creepy around women and like passing around nude pictures of cheerleaders, like, bro, I mean, I know that stuff may be allowed back in the early days of email, but you got to know where you're at in culture.
Yeah.
And look, even if you're not a good person, you have to at least appear to be a good person. All right. And whatever you want to think in your own brain, that's up to you. Like, you can never turn that off from anyone. If someone's a racist and they want to be a racist, but they don't present it, they can have those thoughts in their head 24/7. Who cares, right? I mean, we can't stop that from happening. Yeah. You never know what the person beside you's thinking. But he speaks to that as well, cancel culture. And really, Chappelle at this point is almost above cancel culture. And like I said, a lot of things he said in the stand-up special, I was like, yeah, he's right about this. And he says, I don't know about that, but I think everyone should watch it for that reason, to get your own take on it. Don't jump online if you haven't watched it. You watch one clip and you're like, this man's homophobic, and it's like, you
got to watch it to the end.
Watch it. That's what he's saying. So this caused some concern at the Netflix company, because I guess there were some transgendered employees. And once again, I clarify this.
There's another show on Netflix that's run, the main showrunner is transgender.
Okay.
And she was outraged.
Right.
And was saying, well, I'm not going to put out any more material for
Oh, yeah.
Netflix.
It's Dear White People.
Yeah.
Ah, yes. Okay, I didn't know that she was trans. Okay. Yes, so many of the employees, and once again, I want to clarify with this, and I want everyone that's listening to understand this. If I was transgendered, would I probably be offended by this special? Yes, I probably would be. I'm just being honest with you. I probably would have more invested in it. As I said, I'm trying to learn more about it, and any way I can do that is what it is. I'm sure if I went up to a transgender person, they would automatically assume I was a Republican conservative who was there to blast them. I've learned at this point in my life, that's what I look like, and that's fine, okay? If you meet me, you probably go, this dude's a conservative. 100%. Like, I don't even blink now. I get it. But I guess they did a walkout the other day, and there was some skirmishes between them and other people. And I just want to end with this. Look, man, you can walk out every day of your life. You can have your marches. You can have your rallies and all that. But if you're not, A, investing money into your cause, and B, trying to invest legislation into act, the walks don't mean a darn thing. They don't mean anything.
Yeah.
It's for the freaking gram, most of it. Most of it is people wanting to be on social media saying they were at the walk. I'm guaranteeing you that most of that crowd, that's all it is. And it's doing nothing. You could argue it's doing a disservice, because they'll find people and go, well, that person's bad. That person's bad. They were there. If you're not trying to enact legislation in America to change and trust me, I agree with a lot of transgendered issues. The bathroom stuff I think is ridiculous. Dave Chappelle says it's ridiculous. I think there's a bigger issue in America of bathrooms is we let young children and grown adults go into bathrooms together that are shielded away from the public. And I know of situations here locally and across the world where kids have been touched in bathrooms. No outrage on that. No outrage on that, dude. I mean, where's the outrage on that? It doesn't exist. It's because this offends people. They don't want. I don't care. Like I said before, there should just be single stall bathrooms across America. There should not be shared bathrooms at all. I don't like shared bathrooms. Don't want to do shared bathrooms. Think they should abolish shared bathrooms. It should be a single stall everywhere. That would solve all of our issues right there. But all that being said, I would encourage people to go watch it and then form your own opinion. If you don't like it, that's fine.
Let us know.
I would like to know if you've watched it. What do you think about it? And when John watches, I'd like to hear his thoughts. And like I said, not the funniest special. I mean, I think his first special. I think his first three were just. I mean, they were like hitting grand slams.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think now it's more of a. It's storytelling.
Yeah.
Which I still love. I think I could listen to him talk for 5 hours.
Yeah.
So special is about an hour and some long. So knock it out sometime. Now, before we get in our Mount Rushmore, I want to talk. We did not talk about What If last time. We had so many topics to talk about. We did not talk about the ending of What If, the Disney Marvel Plus series ended. Last episode was What If the Watcher fought back or something.
What if he broke his vow?
Okay, all the titles. And so to set it up, it was a follow-up basically from all the past episodes in a way. It was all connected in sorts.
Yeah.
And it was basically Ultron had all the Infinity Stones and decided he was not just happy with our Earth being destroyed. He was going to literally destroy every multiverse ever existed. And so the Watcher recruited a team of superheroes throughout multiverse options, and they were going to fight him. All right, so I set it up, John. You always coming strong with this. What did you think of the final episode of the series?
I enjoyed the final episode. There were a couple of characters that, I'll be honest, one character that I wanted to see that wasn't in the episode.
Who?
Spider-Man.
Oh, of course, yes. Yes. That's my go-to. I want Spider-Man in every episode. Yeah.
And it seemed like he had a pretty strong showing in the episode that he was in.
That's true.
But
you're right, and that's funny because some of those characters did appear in that episode. Okay, well, I didn't think about that. Yeah. But so what would you? Is that one of your favorite ones?
The episode previous to that one was probably my favorite, and the second favorite, closely, was the What If T'Challa was Star-Lord.
Okay. So he makes an appearance, and I honestly felt that may have been one of my more favorite ones. I just like the interaction. I like kind of the story, and I thought it was a good little tale. So, the series overall, what's the grade you're giving it? What is it? Is it an A? Is it an automatic A? Is it?
I'd probably give it a A-.
Okay. So I mean, highly recommend.
Highly recommended. I mean.
Better than WandaVision. What's better, WandaVision? What If?
Ooh, that's close.
Okay.
Very close.
Wow. Because WandaVision's probably my.
I think
favorite.
WandaVision edges it out.
Okay.
But I think one of the pluses that What If has is the range of people that you get to see.
Yeah.
Whereas WandaVision is kind of those select characters.
But it does have Scarlet Witch, so to me that's like a big.
Yeah.
That's a huge plus.
I mean, the story alone for Scarlet Witch is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is great.
But just the fact that you get and the fact that they were able to get so many people back for the voice parts.
Yeah.
Was it's just kind of fun. Even some of the bit parts. The reporter from Iron Man.
Yeah.
They got her back.
Yeah. It's pretty funny.
And so I mean, just a lot of little things that got thrown back in there.
Okay, I'm gonna go down the series in. What If versus Captain America and Falcon?
No, What If?
Okay, What If? What If versus Loki? Oh, because I'd say WandaVision may be my number one, but Loki is very close to being. It's like 1A, 1B.
Loki is so smarmy and fun to watch.
Yeah, I think it presented the coolest storyline. Truthfully, I felt at some points it dipped.
I didn't like the last episode.
Yeah,
but everything else in the series was just like.
And that's all the series, right? I'm not missing one. This has been What If, Captain America, WandaVision, and Loki, right?
Yeah.
All right. So you would rank them then. WandaVision. Is Loki above What If?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're kind of like WandaVision, Loki, What If, Captain America.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. So if you haven't seen it, I don't know what you're waiting on. Like we've literally talked. Like if you're number one, if you're coming to us for that decision, I don't know what's wrong with you. But if you are, like if you're listening, and going, I don't know, I think you need something to watch. I would highly recommend What If. I mean, is it the best show I've seen this year, last couple months? Maybe not, but it's very good. It's in the top 5 for sure. So
if you're a fan of the Marvel verse,
yeah, for sure, yeah.
I mean, it's something you need to check out.
You know, but so have you seen Venom yet?
I have not, but I know about the end.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll talk about that later. Okay. I say Venom is a wait. See, here's the tough part of Venom. I think it's a wait. I think it's not a good movie. Okay, let me say that. It's not a good movie.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's stupid. I think it's a terrible movie. I have an entire problem with Venom and the voice and Tom Hardy's in this movie. Like I'm still like watching and going, they have Tom Hardy and freaking Michelle Williams. I mean, these are two of the greatest actors that exist today in this movie that is just straight garbage. It's I don't know who it's made for. I can't understand. It's obviously not made for adults. It's not made for the Marvel crowd, if you ask me. It's too violent for young kids. Who is this movie for? I don't even think it's funny. Like
it's a little too hokey for adults.
Yes. So I don't know, but yes. So I feel.
I tell you what, the first one reminded me of is like those Japanimation things that were obviously for adults, but still, way like stupid and cheesy.
Right? Yes. I must have an audience, man. I went and saw it with my coworkers because my one coworker I work with, she was like, she loves Woody Harrelson. So she said, I want to go see this movie. So we went one day after work and we checked it out. And my coworkers were laughing at the jokes. I did not laugh. I don't think I laughed one time. I think I laughed at Tom Hardy's reaction sometimes, but like Venom is supposed to be a comedy character. And I was like, I did not laugh at anything he said. So, but I would say this. Here's the problem with that movie. If you do not go see it, it's probably, the ending's going to get spoiled for you. If you're online, it's going to get spoiled. And I think that's a tragedy. But I think it's a tragedy you have to go watch the movie for the ending.
It seems like Venom, the character, not Tom Hardy, but Venom alone, is almost like a kind of like Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. Drax is funny, though, because it's limited comedy. Like, if it was a Drax movie and it was just those jokes the entire movie, you'd be, all right, I'm done with it.
Yeah.
So anyway, the ending, though, I was very excited about the ending. So a lot of weird endings this week. Like another one, James Bond. Like people are talking about that ending. I'm like, what are you people doing? Like, so anyway, it's wild. You know, it's spoiler season, so just be careful. But are you going to wait 3 months not to read anything online where you can watch Venom? I mean, because the ending is pretty amazing, truthfully.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I saw Shang-Chi. Did I talk about that?
Not on
Okay. Good movie. Very good. Very good. Very solid movie. They follow the same kind of storyline. That character is very charismatic, though, and he's very engaging. So I'm very curious to see him going forward. I think they did a great job. I think that actor's great. I think the supporting cast was great. So Shang-Chi, I know I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like it. I liked it. I genuinely, that's a good movie. I liked it. I think it's very much like Black Panther, very much like, name them. I mean.
See, for the most part, Aquafina kind of annoys me.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit worried about that.
Okay. I like Aquafina. I love her voice. I love her voice. There's something about it because it's very like Miley Cyrus-ish to me, but it's like her own kind of spin on it. I don't know. When you watch it, I'd like to know what you thought. I mean, I know you saw like a bootleg, but you you got to see it. Okay. All right. Well, I think that was about it, man. There's probably some more news story. I know there's an update about that Gabby Petito. Is that her name? You know about that? Well, anyways, the internet knows that they found her boyfriend allegedly is dead. But anyway, if you're following that, you know what I'm talking about. All right, well, it's time then. Let's just jump into the Mount Rushmore. That's right. It is Halloween season. Halloween is just next week, essentially. I mean, you know, today's the 21st, so 9 days away from Halloween. And the best part about Halloween, if you're a kid, I mean, to me, when I was a kid, was the candy.
Yeah.
I know some people like to dress up, and next week, we're doing best Halloween costumes. That is going to be a good one. That'd be a crazy one because I don't know where you're going to go with that list, but
we might have to talk about some ground rules. After the
we'll talk about
after
it.
this week's
We'll talk
episode.
about it. We'll do that. But this week, simple. But, you never know. Sometimes simple turns into complicated. We're talking about the Mount Rushmore of Halloween candy. So these are the small doses of candies, which kind of changes things on a few candy bars for me.
Yeah.
All right. Some candy bars, I in my opinion, are to be enjoyed as a whole, and some are good when they're small or not. So we're going to break down what are the best candies that you can, what are the Mount Rushmore, I would say, of candies you can get in that bag on Halloween. So now, we almost thought we could have done like worst Halloween candies, because I think that would be a great one, because any fruit is terrible. Like, I don't know why people give out fruit, man. Like, and I've seen it done before. Like, I was a child and got fruit, and I was like, I'm not eating this. I would eat this maybe at my house. I'm not eating this from a stranger, and which was the whole thing of, there's razor blades in the candy. That's where that came from, probably because some kid didn't want to eat an apple is what my theory always was. And so he just said, there was something in it. So, all right. So who's going to go first, John?
I think you go first this week.
Okay. Well, you already know what I'm going to pick, but any guidelines before we get started?
For my list, I went with the idea of Halloween and the candy that's associated with it.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
And so, like if we were doing a Mount Rushmore of idiots in politics, Trump would be number one.
Right. Yes.
And so, like, it's not necessarily the best, it's not necessarily the worst,
okay.
but it's the things that are reminiscent.
Okay,
about Halloween.
Interesting, because I did not really do that, but we'll see how our lists match up. I went more with, when you went trick-or-treating, what did you expect to be in that bag? What could you pour the bag out, and what was there that you liked?
That's a gimme. Yeah.
That you liked, not because there's a lot of, and you may have some bad candy on yours, but like there was a lot of candy that to me it never got eaten. But there's some candy that I only eat at Halloween. So I see your point there. So, all right, I just got to grab the best one. Obviously, Snickers bar.
Yeah.
The mini Snickers bar is my number one choice.
Obviously.
Snickers bar, to me, I found out my wife was like, I don't even really like Snickers that much. And I thought for a minute, like, I don't know if this is going to work.
Who are you?
I know. I was like, well, actually, it might work because I get more Snickers. But she meant it's not her favorite,
No.
Because I was like, you're saying you don't like Snickers? She said, no, it's just not my favorite. And I went, that's a shame for you. But the mini Snickers is just the right amount of sweetness. It's somehow it's just as good as the big candy bar. I just don't understand how that's possible.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these, we'll talk about this later, but some of you are like, I want more of this. But Snickers just packs it, man. And when you walked up to a house, they're giving out Snickers. Those are the people you like.
It's so weird because, like, if you get a big Snickers bar, it feels like the perfect amount.
Right.
You get those little ones, you eat it, and you're like, wow, this was perfect.
Perfect amount. I hear you, man. It's crazy.
Well played.
That's
a good one.
It's the gold standard.
I knew that was going to be your first pick.
It's got to be,
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. John, you're up. What you got?
I'm going with, you can't think of the words Halloween and candy without thinking of this.
Okay.
This is candy corn.
Oh, okay.
It's a lot of people hate candy corn, but it's got to be. You're talking about Halloween and candy. It's going to be on the best list. It's going to be on the worst list.
Okay. Do you like it?
I can stand them, but it's not nearly my favorite.
Okay. I love it. My wife has a jar of it in the front section of our house, and I grab it every day. I'll walk by it. I love it. I could eat it.
If it's there, I'll eat it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Like you said, I'm not going to the store and grabbing some candy corn.
Yeah.
But if it's out, I'm eating it.
Yeah.
I don't know. People that don't like it, I'm like, bro, come on, man. Like, just get over yourself. Like, circus peanuts, we can argue about that all day long. I like circus peanuts, but I would admit they're trash, okay? Like, I understand they're not great. Candy corn's good. What do people not like it?
I think candy corn to Halloween is like those little pink bunnies to Easter.
Okay.
And I'm not a fan of those little pink bunnies.
No, I hate them.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And so I can get why people don't like the candy corn.
Yeah.
But I'm like you. I'm not going to go out and buy them. But if it's there.
Right. I if you had a bag of it right now, I'd be eating this entire episode. Yeah. So I'm glad you don't. Okay.
And besides eating them, you can, if you want to really throw some wow into your jack-o'-lantern, toothpicks and candy corn.
There you go.
Some excellent jack-o'-lantern teeth.
All right.
So
I think it's a good choice, man, because that's actually, I didn't think about it. That's one candy that's really only around on Halloween, truthfully. So, Okay, well, my number 2, I got to go with this. I mean, once again, this is something. Oh my God, when I roll up in someone's house and they would drop it in the bag, and it's very and it's become specific now. When I was a kid, this wasn't a thing, but now the Halloween, the jack-o'-lantern or pumpkin-shaped Reese's peanut butter cups.
Well played,
bro. Those are the bomb.
Oh
man.
yeah,
I argue those are better than the cups. I don't. I mean, that's blasphemy.
I agree. No. You're right because it's thicker in the middle.
Oh, it's a delish.
And so
it is a delight, and it's Halloween themed. And so now, whenever I've noticed my kids go out, they're all pumpkin shaped. But man, those, you just give me a bag full of Snickers and those.
I mean, again, to compare them to Easter, it's like the Easter egg shaped ones.
Yes, right.
And it's just it's wider in the middle.
Oh, so good.
So it's just like bam.
They should just release specialty Reese's peanut butter cups like year round. Just make one every month, man. I would buy them. I will buy and they're at the store. You're like, oh, they're only 60 cents, which is kind of really, I guess if you do the math, it's kind of a lot. But you're like, oh, that's a low amount. Give me 5 of those. And I'm eating 5 on the way home. But I love them. So that's my number 2. All right, what's your number 2, John?
My number 2. I mean, you can't go candy. I mean, this candy has changed the industry.
Okay.
Because I actually, I saw one of those specials on it, and it talked about the history of this candy.
Okay.
And how it was the first candy that didn't have to be eaten right away. That's M&M's.
Interesting.
You got the specialty bags with little bats on them.
Yeah.
And so M&M's.
So we're talking snack size, or we're talking
the
just
snack size? Yeah.
See, my only knock, and the reason I don't have M&M's on mine, I think there's just not enough M&M's. I think M&M's, the more the merrier in this situation.
I would agree with you.
So that's why now.
I mean, if you find that house that's giving away the shareable, which you're not really going to share, but
right?
Yeah, you go to that house.
True. But in that point, you're saying they were meant basically to be handed out. Truthfully, you're right. So I see your point there. And like I said, once again. I mean, you've heard our Mount Rushmore of candies. I mean, if my bag's full of just Snickers, Reese's, and then M&M's, that's a good day. I'm good. That's all I want. I almost would give everything else away. But there you go. Okay. All right. So M&M's are number 3. All right. I'm going to go. Now, somebody in the chat just mentioned this one, and I'm going to say that this is the only time of year I ever eat these. Okay. I'm not saying they all get eaten because you get a lot of them, but I never, ever have walked to a store and asked for a Tootsie Roll ever in my life, except when I get them in Halloween, and that's when I eat them. I think it's essential. When you search your bag this year, if you have kids, I guarantee you 10 to 20% of that bag is Tootsie Rolls.
Oh, yeah.
100%, right? I mean, and they're good. There's little small things. You can just pop them in. You can give kids a lot of them. It looks like you give them a lot of candy. You didn't really give them that much, so it kind of works out now.
The funny thing about Tootsie Rolls is they taste like chocolate was made in a laboratory.
Yeah, it is weird, right?
It's just it's chocolate, but it's like if Yoo-Hoo was a candy.
Yes, it is. Yes, it does not taste like chocolate. Yes, I agree. Yeah. Like I say, generally there's so many of them given out that I end up throwing a lot away. I can't eat all of this Tootsie Rolls. And hey, man, I'm sure people out there love the candy, but I can't remember a time where I actively went out and bought a Tootsie Roll.
I've never craved a Tootsie Roll.
No, I've never thought in the middle of the night, what would be good right now? A Tootsie Roll. But people give them out Halloween, I'm going to eat them. Like I said, I'm not saying they're the best candy, but I think when I think of Halloween, that's one of the ones I'm like, this is a Halloween-centric candy, because any other time, you're not seeing those out. So, all right, John, we're up to your number 3.
Now, I'm a chocolate guy, but in fairness to all those people out there, you got to change it up a little bit.
I agree.
And so we've got to put some fruit out there, and I'm going to say Starburst.
Yeah, I had that. That might have been my last choice, but I have another one that probably was going to be above it, but I had Starburst on my list because I think you make a very good point. Too much chocolate is bad. Honestly, it is. I mean, you eat enough Snickers bars. I love Snickers bars. After a while, I'm like, all right, I need something sweet. Yeah. I need salt, chocolate, sweet.
Yeah.
And I think the Starburst are great as well. Use about 2 or 3 in there. Pop those in. Hits a spot. Starburst is another candy. As I did buy it when I was younger. I have not bought a Starburst in probably 20 years, truthfully. I can't believe.
I mean, we are in our 40s, so.
I know, but bro, I still buy Snickers just 2 days ago. You know, like I buy peanut butter cups all the time. When's the last time you actively bought a pack of
I
Starburst?
think when you have cravings, though, you don't crave fruit flavored stuff. I think people crave chocolate.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, that's
And
I'm
as an
sure.
adult, when you buy a candy, let's face it, it's because you see it and you're like, I want that. I mean, and you're not going to get that from fruit.
But let's say this. You meet a dude and he eats a whole Snickers bar. I'm talking the big one. You're like, that's acceptable. If I meet someone and they eat an entire pack of Starburst while I'm sitting there, I'm secretly thinking, bro, this dude might be a serial killer. That's a lot of candy in one.
That's not just it, though. It's because each one of them's wrapped.
Right.
And so that's a lot of work to go through.
Exactly. And for something that's, I mean, it's all right, man. Like, once again, it's not cracking my top 50 of candy probably. Did I like it when I was younger? I guess. I mean, I don't know. Once again, I don't remember buying a lot of Star. I know I have purchased Starburst when I was younger, but I don't know. You buy it once, you're right. It's too much work, man. I need something that's there. Okay. All right, that's a good one. All right, well, I'm going to go for my last one. This is something also that I love, but really, most of the time I eat it is because there's a lot of it on Halloween. My kids get it. They don't like it as much. They got jokes on the packs. They're beautiful. They're delicious. Laffy Taffy, man. I love the Laffy Taffy. Once again, this is one where Laffy Taffy Tootsie Roll, thank you, Halloween. I've got enough of it to last me a couple months out, and then I forget it exists. And the only time I ever get Laffy Taffy is when my kids bring it home because they were at some party and it was in the grab bag or at Halloween. And that's it. And I've never gone out and bought Laffy. I don't even know where people, truthfully, you want to try. I'm not even being funny. I know people will. I don't even know where Laffy Taffy is purchased. I've never seen it for sale. Is this some like discount store? I don't know. I've never seen it for sale. Have you seen, where's Laffy Taffy at in the store?
I don't know. I remember seeing like Airheads, which is basically the same thing.
Yeah.
But
I know I've not seen Laffy Taffy. I've seen Airheads because my kids like, I've never seen Laffy Taffy. Where are these people getting it? I don't know. They must know where the Laffy Taffy is. So, all right, that's my last one. What's your last one, John? What you gonna wrap it up with?
I'm gonna wrap it up with the what I would presume is the original. Got to go with the Hershey bar.
Yeah, that's. If I had a 5, I would have probably hit on there. Hershey bar is so good.
I mean, it's versatile. You know, this is also the season of campfires and things like that.
That's what I was about to say.
You got some extra ones left over. You get some graham crackers and some marshmallows. Your s'mores and that up. You know,
I agree.
And so, yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of the things on our list is not going to happen without the Hershey bar.
Right. No, you're 100%. And I could eat Hershey bars all day, and I've definitely bought them many times in my life. And like I say, during s'more season, those small ones actually work out better for you.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's a perfect size to snap on that s'more, get outside, put a little, get a little flame going, and it's perfect. So, all right, well, let me run our down. I had Snickers, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, Tootsie Rolls, Laffy Taffy. John had candy corn, M&M's, Starburst, and the Hershey bar. So on my list, I'd written down some sweet stuff like Sour Patch Kids. It's pretty good in small amounts. The two I really didn't want to put on the list is like Twix and Kit Kat because I just don't feel there's enough there. I feel like I'm getting cheated. I think when I get those 2 small Kit Kats, I'm like, no, I need the 4. The 4 is the perfect number for that. Twix is kind of the same way. I need 2 of them. I don't need one tiny one. I need 2 of them. That's literally their campaign slogan. Right and left is what it is.
Yeah.
Kit Kat. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. Which is that commercial kind of weird because like that's obviously the company singing the jingle, right? Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. So you want me, the thing I just bought, to give back to you? No, you buy your own freaking Kit Kat bar, man. Get out of here with that nonsense. But yeah, that's the only 2 that I thought. And then there's crap candy. I mean, like I don't.
I mean, we could have gone. I mean, I didn't. There's one of those candies where I wanted to put it, but I didn't. And like the Tootsie Roll Pop.
Yeah. A lot of those are given out.
You don't want to have Tootsie Roll and that on the list.
Yeah.
But it's almost a separate candy.
Yeah. No, it is. It is 100%.
And so it's just like, and speaking of pops, I mean, the Blow Pop, which.
I don't like Blow Pops. I don't know. It's just too, once again, I think you come back earlier. It's too much work.
Yeah.
I'm too old now to work like that. Like, give me something I can eat real quick. I don't want to be having this thing for 15 minutes.
Yeah. Up there also, Skittles.
What about Smarties?
Smarties is definitely
I
Halloween.
probably should have put that on my list. I didn't even. I just thought of
Smarties,
Smarties, but I hate Smarties. That's the thing.
I don't like them either, but
They are Halloween.
they're very
Bro,
Halloween.
You talking about? I don't know where Laffy Taffy is. You tell me they don't. There's no way people are selling Smarties are for sale in stores non-Halloween. I want to know.
I think they are, but in a bag.
I want one where I want one person.
I mean, if you had a gun to my head and I had to guess someplace, I'd say Walgreens.
Probably right.
But
I want one person
Sweet
to come.
Tarts.
Yeah.
That's very.
I want people to come forth. If you listen, tell us where you bought these candies. Because someone out there is like loves Smarties. I don't know. That person's a psycho, but there's someone out there that likes that. I mean,
they have to be. I mean, there's selling too many of them.
Right.
Skittles up there.
Yeah, it's all right.
And another favorite of mine is Almond Joy.
I don't like coconut,
Yeah,
but I'm gonna give it a shot this year because I tried something coconut not a while back. Not too bad, but we'll see. I'm probably not gonna like it. All right, well, that's our Mount Rushmore of Halloween candies. Let us know what some of your favorites are, what you think shouldn't have made the list. We'll post it on social media, so do that. And we have come up to the end of the program. So you've learned hopefully a lot about Dave Chappelle, Donald Trump, my trip, and Halloween candy, and we discussed what if. So it was a full episode, and we'll be back next week to do the Mount Rushmore of Halloween costumes. Looking forward to that one, and we will be right on the doorstep of Halloween season. It will be here. So I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit next week. And before you go and leave us, go check out our website. bybpod.com is the website. That's where you go check out all of our past episodes, all of our social media accounts. We're on all there. We're on Facebook, Instagram. Facebook says they're thinking about changing their name. I don't know what that's about. YouTube, we're on TikTok, whatever, all that good stuff. And there's ways to grab the download. And then there's that Amazon affiliate link, which is probably, where am I pointing? It's right over here next to John. John's closer to it than I am. If you click on that Amazon affiliate link, you can buy things on Amazon.
You know what candies to buy now.
That's true.
And you've got enough time to get those candies for Halloween.
That's true.
So you know what to get. If you haven't gotten your Halloween costume yet, you still have time if you go to that Amazon link. Also, Christmas is right around the corner.
It's time.
It's time.
There's a
Especially
shipping.
now.
There's a shipping problem in America.
You need to buy now. So
there
just
you go.
because we told you.
It's it. There's the link. It's right next to John. Click on that, bybpod.com. Go do it. Tell friends about the show. And all that being said, John, is there anything else?
Don't blame yourself. We can blame your brother.
Peace. And we're done. I forgot Smarties. Damn it. Yeah. Smarties, man.